Hey everybody, First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. It's Tuesday, January 8th, and we're talking about a significant cool down going into the rest of the week that's going to set the stage for potentially some wintry weather. Now, I know a lot of my viewers and my followers are in the Charlotte area. That's one area where I would say don't get super excited. This is again going to be one of those maybe Interstate 40 kind of setups. North of Interstate 85 is certainly going to be the area I'm going to be watching the closest for this system. So I'm going to start real wide here to kind of show you the setup with this system, because the first part of this is getting the cold air to move in ahead of this system. And the little front that's moving through today and tomorrow, this is going to usher in the cold air. One thing I will tell you is that we're probably going to see a pretty good burst of snow in the mountains at some point tonight. Up into West Virginia, and very windy conditions. So just a heads up, there's going to be really windy conditions in the mountains and foothills tonight, and even starting today, but tonight and tomorrow. So high wind watches are up already. Could see a high wind warning, but that's the cold air moving in across the eastern half of the country. And I'm going to stop this as I go out to about right here, because you can see this big sprawling area of high pressure. Remember, high pressure spins clockwise, so the flow around this is pushing in all of this cold air into the southeast. So we're going to go from maybe 50s and 60s the last couple of days to highs only in the 40s for Thursday into Friday. That's also the time frame where we're going to have a better idea on what this system is going to do. So I'm going to go into Friday, and you can see the system taking shape here across the middle of the country. And you can see two distinct pieces of energy. And I talked a lot about this yesterday. Remember, in the atmosphere, there's two things we watch in the wintertime, and this is part of the reason we get such wild swings in the weather. We get the subtropical jet stream, sometimes referred to as the southern branch of the jet stream. This is the southern branch of the jet stream that is influenced by El Nino and brings all of the moisture. This is why it's been so wet, because it's been parked over the southern U.S. There's another branch of the jet stream called the northern branch, sometimes referred to as the polar jet, because it holds and really controls the cold air. Behind it is the cold air. Now, what's happened for the last couple of weeks, the southern branch has been hammering us with storm after storm after storm, and why it's been so incredibly wet, while the northern branch has kind of retreated up into Canada. Well, what's going on here is now the northern branch of the jet stream is coming south again, and it's going to, what we call, try to phase, which means the piece of energy, a dip in the jet stream in the northern branch and the southern branch will work together to make one big mega dip in the jet stream. This is how you get big storms, especially in the wintertime. The problem with this setup is there's not really good information on them coming together fully. It's kind of like they want to do something, and then they kind of don't do it until maybe they get past this. But that all being said, you can see the northern piece of energy is showing up over Colorado here. That's that little area of snow right there. And here's our southern branch. So they're going to kind of work in tandem as they push to the east. So this is basically starting, on Friday morning-ish. You can see the system's pushing to the east, and I'll go into Friday afternoon. And you can see the cold air working together. There's our northern piece. There's our southern piece. And enough cold air that we're going to see snow on the northern edge of this. So this is going into Friday night. Nothing Friday. Another dry day. Can you believe it? 7 days in a row with no rain. We'll go into Friday night into early Saturday. I'm going to stop this at like 7 a.m. Saturday morning. You could see a couple things here. It looks like snow starting to spread into the mountains. But remember, this is going to be moving into really cold air. You can actually see the orientation of the high. These little isobars showing the cold air coming in. A lot of this is going to have a tough time reaching the ground initially because the air is going to be so dry. So that's actually going to cause the atmosphere to cool, but also delay the onset of anything falling. Also notice how far north the southern branch of the jet stream is. It's right here. And then look how far north this northern piece is. So they're kind of separated. They're not really fully together yet. So I'm going to go through, whoops, I jumped way ahead there. I'm going to back this up here again until Friday night. And we'll go through Saturday morning, here's Saturday about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you could see it looks like snow over Charlotte, but this is probably going to be a snow, sleet, rainish mix. No ice, but rain or snow mixing in there. I do think we'll probably see snow. The best chances of snow around Charlotte are probably going to be Saturday evening when the sun goes down. This is at 5 o'clock. This is going to 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. Saturday night looks like the bulk of the moisture is moving in. So if you're looking for like a timeline here, it's really Saturday night into Sunday morning, but it could start at any time Saturday afternoon. Notice how much warm air, though, is getting pulled north, even west of the mountains. You can see the warm air getting pulled up here. It's getting pulled up here, but the cold air damming is helping keep this mainly snow or sleet. Now I'm going to go in closer, and you can see there's really not much snow in Charlotte at this point. This is really Interstate 40. Now, the interstates are arbitrary things. We use them as landmarks. Mother Nature has no idea they're there. It's just they work out perfectly in our area because Interstate 40 is in the core of this, and this area right in here is where the cold air gets trapped the longest and where we have the highest chance of seeing snow. You can see a little bit of a mix there. This is probably rain-snow mix late Saturday night into Sunday morning. As we get closer to Sunday morning, this is 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, the warm nose, we call it, which is the warm air associated with the low, really starts to push in. So this is warm air above our heads, about 5,000 feet. The temperature is probably closer to 40 degrees as opposed to closer to the low 30s at the surface. This changes everything to rain usually in this setup. And you can see that's really what happens by Sunday morning. Even in the mountains, it's holding on to snow, but it's trying to change to rain. So in Charlotte, there's not a lot of snow at this point. This is mainly in the mountains and foothills. But watch what happens Sunday as the system kind of weakens and pushes off to the east. You can see the main low doesn't really ever get cranked up here. And then we got this little piece of energy coming in on the backside that kind of keeps it, maybe some snow flurries on Sunday. Now, I wouldn't get too excited about this because temperatures on Sunday afternoon are likely going to be above freezing. So if anything is falling, it's melting on the way down. And then we go into Monday morning and the low moves out and we start to dry out. But the one thing I will tell you though, the mountains really do have the best chance of seeing some good snow out of this because even on the backside, the northwest flow that develops is going to help give them another shot of snow. So you folks in the mountains and skiers, this is really good news for skiing and could be a really good event. You can see the snow initially in the mountains. It might change to rain at some point and then go back to snow. But overall, my overall thinking on this storm has really not changed all that much. And it's only Tuesday, by the way. So, we've gotten plenty of days to watch this. I still think our highest chances are going to be up here in the areas in blue, maybe down to Statesville. I might bring the blue area down a little bit. And then there's that typical transition zone along I-85 where it's like 30% chance of snow on the north side of that, closer to zero as you get to the southern end. And again, Charlotte South, this is looking like a cold rain event. It doesn't mean there couldn't be snowflakes mixed in, but I wouldn't get too excited for a ton of snow because if I just look at the guidance, and I like looking at all the models and showing the average and then taking what I think the snowfall ratio is, basically liquid to snow. If you look, this is for Charlotte. This is for the city of Charlotte. There's 2 surges of snow, one here on Saturday, another one Saturday night into Sunday morning. But look at the totals. That's not 2.5, that's 0.25. So a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch spread, with the average being right around a tenth of an inch of snow right in there. So that's just not impressive totals, folks. I mean, if I take all the runs, these are the last 4 runs of the GFS. If I look at the Euro, the high end is like, maybe a dusting to an inch. The low end is 0. So it's very similar for Charlotte with the last system in December, but it's not very similar north of Charlotte because the amounts up here, even though it's a better chance of snow in this area, it's not going to be huge amounts. You're looking at several inches, not double digits or a big snowstorm. This has got the potential to just be one of those typical January storms that we get here in the southeast. So nothing super huge, nothing super small, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on for the weekend. And it is only Tuesday, by the way. Of course, I'll have updates throughout the week. I think that Wednesday night into Thursday time frame is going to be really key to seeing what we're going to, kind of get a better handle on this. Remember, no forecast amounts. They're useless right now. The models aren't worth looking at for amounts. We just look at the chances. As we get about 48 hours to 72 hours out, so that would be the Thursday time frame, we'll probably start putting out our first forecast snowfall amounts. And again, I always make mine manually because that's a better way. It's a better quality of product there as we get closer to the weekend. So that's today's vlog. I'll have updates throughout today, tomorrow, obviously throughout the week. But in Charlotte, again, people always joke around and say, everyone's freaking out. Hey, don't freak out. This is not going to be a big deal. This is, hey, we might see snowflakes, but we're not going to see a big deal on the roads. And even up here, this isn't going to be a huge deal. This is typical. We got to remember, it's January. It's the heart of the winter. This is supposed to happen.